गरजे गंगा जटा माझे ओगरे अनल त्रिशूल राजे गरजे गंगा जटा माझे ओगरे अनल त्रिशूल राजे धक 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 मोले बंध धक 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 मोले बंध धक 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 मोली बंध धक 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 मोली बंध जले शशांक भार जले शशांक भार ताथैया ताथैया नाचे भोला ताथैया ताथैया नाचे भोला बम बम बाजे गान बम बम बाजे गान डिमी 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 डमरू बाजे डिमी 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 डमरू बाजे दोले छे कपालो मान दोले छे कपालो मान ताथैया ताथैया नाचे भोला ताथैया ताथैया नाचे भोला ताथैया ताथैया नाचे भोला ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम तत्सत् श्री राम कृष्णार्पणमस्तु जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय जय महामाई की जय जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय जय गंगा माई की जय जय देवादिदेव महादेव की जय
भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम तत्सत् ওই মন্ত্রের শীটটা এদের নিয়ে দিতে হবে 10টা মন্ত্র তোমাদের মুখস্থ করাতে হবে ওটা The real nature of man 34 Great is the tenacity with which man clings to the senses. Yet however substantial he may think the external world in which he lives and moves, there comes a time, the lives of individuals and of races, when involuntarily they ask, is this real? Because we go through so many experiences which are very unfavorable, experiences very bitter, we wish they were not real. Experiences which are extraordinarily useful for us, fruitful, they say, this is real. Ultimately things pass. So this question comes and he says, to the person who never finds a moment to question the credentials of his senses, whose every moment is occupied with some sort of sense enjoyment, even to him death comes and he is compelled to ask, is this real? So mark this sentence, this phrase, credentials of the senses. Do you understand what is credentials of senses? Credentials means that gives you something which you find it credible. You understand the word credible? Credibility. You show a mark sheet, you show a certificate. Is a credible certificate? Which university did you pass out from? So credibility means something which is reliability, which is truthfulness, which can be taken to be real, true. Now, how do we get the input from about the world? About the world, we get input from the senses. Only 5 senses. See, whole world depends upon the credibility of the 5 senses. You see with the eyes, you hear with the ears, you taste with the tongue, you touch with the skin, and you smell with the nose. These are the 5 senses. Suppose you are born blind. Some people are born blind, born deaf. Then how do they know the world exists? They touch, they smell, and they taste. Suppose the sense of touch also sometimes, the tactile nerves, etc. get damaged. You can taste only through, you can know the world only through smell and taste. Suppose the taste buds also go away, you know it only through smell. Even that if you can't do, as far as you are concerned, does the world exist or not? Very simple question. How do you know the world exists? This question was raised in the first chapter of that book I told you, which you will not read, I know. Very old book, 1930s. Nature of the Physical World by Eddington. Eddington was a great astrophysicist, as you know. He was a contemporary of Einstein. He begins his lectures with this. I am writing these lectures on 2 tables. One is the ordinary table that you see by the senses, other is the scientific table. Scientific table consists of atoms. Each atom consisting of a central core called the nucleus and the electrons whirling around them, and there are so many gaps in between. You know, between the atom, between the proton, which is the nucleus, and the electrons, some gap is there. The total gap, if you see, the table will shrink to only this much. So what is the table? What is this world? This question has been asked after atomic theory, particularly after quantum mechanics. So what is this table? Is the world real? Is a question not only of philosophy and religion, of science also, quantum physics and quantum theory. And recently more and more people are asking this question, where is the place of consciousness? So what is matter? Matter is something, what matter is? Physics is a science of matter. Physics does not know what is matter. Biology is a science of life. Biology does not know what is life. There are certain fundamental things which we do not know, but use them oftenly. Life, matter, consciousness, time. What is time? We don't know what is time. By the clock only we know. What is space? Certain fundamental quantities which we actually see, realize, experience cannot be defined because they are part of our own self. So you can define something which is an object, which you see, which you realize, which you perceive. If it is part of you, you can't define it. So you can't define reality. What is reality? Reality is defined by so many people, so many ways. So you can't really say this is real, this is unreal. You dream. Is dream unreal or real? All that you can say is, in comparison with the waking state in which you see all these objects, in comparison with that appears to be not real. But why not the other way about? In comparison to the dream state, which you take it to be real, this state will be unreal. I think it was Bertrand Russell who said, if you dream for 12 hours and are awake for 12 hours, which one is real? It is only relative. Related to that, this happens. So this question again and again, are these experiences real? Because now the very important concept of reality is related to evanescence or ephemerality. Ephemerality, impermanence. That which is constantly changing cannot be real. That is the theory of Vedanta. Vedanta says anything which is real should be unchanging. This may be disputed. Many philosophers, Ramanuja also, they have disputed this theory. Reality cannot change. Why? If reality changes, what is the measure of reality? What is the criteria by which you say this is real and that is not real? এটা সত্য, ওটা সত্য নয়, সেটা কীভাবে তুমি বলছো? You should have some criterion. কী ক্রাইটেরিয়ান করবে এটা? পরিবর্তনীয় বস্তু যদি হয় সেটা আনরিয়েল বলে ধরছি, অপরিবর্তনীয় হলে রিয়েল বলে ধরছি আমরা। This is a reasonably good criterion, although it can be challenged. Because if everything constantly keeps changing, you cannot have any criterion by which you decide anything. আজকে বললাম 40% পেলে এটা পাস মার্কস, দুদিন বাদে ওটা 30 হলো। আমরা যে করে যাচ্ছি কেন বলতো, এডুকেশন সিস্টেম এভরিডে দের ইজ এ নিউ ক্রাইটেরিয়ান। নাও দে সে ইউ ডিড নট পাস ইন এনিথিং, ইউ গো অন গোয়িং আপ। So which is the criterion by which you say this person is bright, this person is not bright? This person is really intelligent, that person is not intelligent. There is no criterion. So nothing can be decided about reality except one simple test, which is unchangeability. Something which does not change. What is change? Change happens in time and space. You are now sitting here, tomorrow you are sitting somewhere else. Now you are studying in Calcutta, tomorrow you will be studying in London or Oxford or Cambridge. So a place has changed and therefore you have changed. It can be in time also. You are in the same place, but after 10 years, your body has changed, your mind has changed, your hair has gone grey. So you have changed. Hari, what is it? You totally have changed. Nothing is changing, but his appearance, his attitudes, everything is changing. The kind of attitude which you had 10 years ago, now you have an experience of life. You are chasing certain things you think thought to be real. Ultimately, you are experiencing other people's lives and say, there is no use getting it. You think I'll become an IAS officer, I'll do something, etc. And rise to the top of the chief secretary. But you have to salute before a person who has not even passed school final. This is called democracy. Recently, there's a beautiful joke I heard. The demons, and the angels, Devatas and Asuras, the demons, which are the Asuras, become terribly powerful. They have the physical strength, they have the intelligence also. That brute force, they can come and smash you like that. So the Devatas said, we should borrow the technique from them. How they are able to convince, win over everybody, that power, the technique, that the cleverness of these Asuras. Then they took up this thing, then they become very successful. Then what is the name they should give for their governance? Then what should we do? Then said, no, let us call it democracy, because we have borrowed it from the demons. Then there was a meeting, they said this should be called, a person, intelligent man got up, one of the Devatas. No, don't call it. It's obvious that we have taken it from them. Drop the N. If you drop the N, what happens? It becomes democracy. That's why democracy was born. Democracy, actually democracy. Just for fun. So, things keep changing in time, changing in place. And therefore, that which is real, taken by the criterion of changelessness, should be unchanging. That means constant in time, constant in space. Nothing can be constant in space, nothing can be constant in time. So that means It will be beyond time and beyond space. That which is real, beyond space and beyond time. That which is beyond space and beyond time should be beyond causation, and therefore beyond relativity. That is beyond relativity is absolute. And therefore you cannot realize it, you cannot see it. Why? Because all perception is from the relative world. So the absolute cannot be realized from the relative. And if your absolute has to be realized, you have to become the absolute. If you become the absolute, how can you realize the absolute? Ramakrishna's example, Nuneru Putul Samudram Aptegechalo. The moment it entered the waters, it melted. Now, Nuner Putul Samudra ke jene che naki jana nahi. Yes or no? Sw.Atmapriyananda wanted to measure the depth of the ocean, wanted to know the ocean's depth. The moment it entered the ocean, it melted away. Question, did the Sw.Atmapriyananda know the ocean or did not know the ocean? Yes or no? If you say did not, it is the ocean. How can you say I do not know myself? You are that. If you say yes, he knows it, how can you know? Because it has become it. So how do you solve this problem? This problem has been solved in Vedanta, which Swamiji will hint at this. There are two kinds of knowing. One is knowing as an object, other is knowing by becoming. I know something by becoming it. The other is know something as an object. Do you have eyes? Chok ache? Tumhare shakal chok ache? Are you sure? Have you seen your eyes? You have seen the reflection in the mirror. That's not your eye. Why did you not see your eye? Because you see everything through the eye. So how can the eye see itself? That means if you want to see the eye, you have to make the eye an object of perception. Eye is the subject which is seeing everything. How can the subject be objectified? Vijnata ramare kena vijaniya. That is vijnata. Knower cannot be known by anything else. So, there is a higher kind of knowledge, you become that. So we call it, for want of any other word, you know the Atman. There is no question of knowing the Atman. Jnana means nothing. You are the Atman, that's all. Jnana word is used in the sense of becoming one with it. That's what Swamiji says. This question you are compelled to ask, is this real? Religion begins with this question and ends with this answer. Very simple, he says. Religion begins with the question, is this all real? And ends with the answer, what is the reality? So in simple formula, religion, Vedanta begins with this one question, koham. Koham means, aham kaha, who am I? Two answers are given. The I becomes larger and larger and larger and larger till completely envelops the whole universe, Brahmanda. It becomes infinite. Then the answer comes, Soham, I am that infinite. In the path of bhakti, I become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Ultimately, it's completely erased. Then the answer is Naham. So Koham leads to one answer, Soham, another answer, Naham. So these three words completely summarize the whole of Vedanta. From Koham, you go to Naham in the path of bhakti and Soham in the path of jnana. Girish Chandra Ghosh, the famous dramatist and poet, brought about an imagery. He said, Mahamaya, you know Mahamaya? All of us are caught in Mahamaya's net. Mahamaya threw the net. Everybody is caught there. Two people escaped. One person becomes larger and larger and larger, becomes so large, the net could not contain him. He escaped. The other person became so small that he escaped through the holes of the net. The first person is called Swami Vivekananda. Second person is called Nag Mahashaya. In the path of bhakti, simply erase yourself, say Naham, 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 Tuhu, Tuhu, and then you escape. The other person is Soham, I am that infinite self, what can you do to me? Like Swamiji said, a mosquito was sitting on the horn of a bull. The mosquito is constantly biting the bull, sitting on the horn. অনেক দিন অনেকক্ষণ বাদে মস্কিটোর খুব মন খারাপ হলো, তোমাকে অনেকক্ষণ ধরে কষ্ট দিচ্ছি, আমি চলে যাচ্ছি। ষাঁড় দেখলো, ও তুই আছিস নাকি, আমি দেখিনি তো, সপরিবারে এসে সারাক্ষণ থাক, কী করবি আমাকে? Mosquito is biting the horn of a bull, what can you do? So we are that infinite self, no problem can really affect us. This is the Vedantic method of solving the problem of depression. This is the remedy which, who applied this to whom? Sri Krishna to Arjuna. He gave him the highest philosophy. Even in the remote past where recorded history cannot help us, in the mysterious light of mythology, back in the dim twilight of civilization, the same question is asked, what becomes of this? Is this real? Then he goes to Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad, you know the story of Nachiketa, young boy like any one of you. He was a teenager and his father was performing a sacrifice. In that sacrifice, the condition was everything should be given up. His father carefully selected all the cows which are absolutely useless. Pito, Daga, Jagdatrana, Dugdadoha, Nirindriyaha. It could not walk, it could not eat properly, it could not yield anything. Reduction sale. You know reduction sale? During Durga Puja and Christmas, etc. Some of the old stock which were not selling, they ready 50% to 30%, they sell it off. So Nachiketa is a little boy. He was endowed with Shraddha. Shraddha avivesha. This quality of Shraddha, Swamiji repeatedly points out, is the sine qua non, the most fundamental quality which is required for a person who inquires into truth. For any inquirer means a person who wants to penetrate into truth and know the reality. The first thing is Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Astikya buddhi. This is Shankara's definition. Astikya means asti means existence, easiness, it is. And the feeling that it is real, the truth is real, God is real. So Astikya buddhi is the intuitive understanding that there is an ultimate reality. You call it Brahman, call it by any name. So that kind of buddhi is called Shraddha. So he went and challenged his father as if taunting him. Kasme mam dasyasi, to whom are you going to give me? I am also useless like those cows. Then once, twice, when he repeated 3 times, father got irritated. Mritvetva dadami, I'll give you to God of death, you go. Then father repented, no, don't go. Out of anger I told you. So sometimes we say something, it cannot be erased. Now the huge controversy of that comedian, you are aware of that. Whole world is on fire. He was at the top of the world. Several million followers he had. Now he's falling from grace. Because of tongue. Vakshayama yakavarakram nagaka. Kavakal sogapar sollirukkapatta. Thiruvalluvar says, if you don't control your tongue, control your speech, you will somehow get caught. Sollirukku means the words will be tinged with some kind of ill will or some dirt. That means it becomes so filthy and you simply will fall from grace. So, control of the tongue cannot come until you control the mind. That's why the Supreme Court said, your mind is polluted, mind is so dirty, filthy, and you're vomiting all the dirt outside. If your mind is filthy, then filth will come out. Who said this? Sri Ramakrishna said this to Sahitya Samrat, Bankim Chandra. Mulo khele, mulo dekur udbe. If you go on eating radish, you'll belch only radish. So day and night, if you fill your minds with filthy thoughts, naturally filth will come out. This become a common thing among youngsters outside of your age. The moment they open their eyes, all possible slang. They cannot, one sentence they cannot speak without 5 slangs. Shala is something very ordinary, most innocent. They are further and further and further slangs. Why? Because you are constantly used to it. You live in that atmosphere, breathe in that atmosphere, finally you get degenerate, totally degenerate. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam prehitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva vagmayam dabauchyate. Tapasya of the body, tapasya of the mind, and tapasya of speech. These 3 tapasyas are mentioned. Then father wanted to retract. No, don't go. See, once your word comes out, you can't erase it. In computer it's very easy. You go back and delete that portion. Or in the electronic, then you simply erase like that. Electronic erasers are available. In pencil also, if you write, you can erase. But words, if they come out, if you say something, some people will say something. That means they have erased it. It cannot be erased. That's the danger of the word. There is an interesting joke. In America, one person went to very big company or somewhere. He didn't know who was sitting there. Then there is a big altercation between these two. He said, "Go to hell." In America, it's a very common. There is another very common slang which in India nobody can even pronounce it. So he came back. Then somebody said, "Hari, he is the mayor of the state. You told him this. Dangerous." "Oh, I did not know. Then what should I do now?" I told him, "Go to hell." You go and then apologize. Withdraw what you said. Then he went there. "Sir, you told me to go to hell. Why are you coming again here?" "Sir, I didn't know, sir. I didn't know you are the mayor. I made a big mistake, sir. I apologize, sir," etc. "Where do you come here for? Why did you come here now?" "So I want to withdraw what I said." "What do you want to say?" "Please don't go to hell." He's withdrawing what he said. That's why word is so important. From the beginning in education, in study, word has to be purified. What is the easiest way to do it? Vagmayam tapauchyate swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva. That's why the Gurukulas, the Pathashalas, they keep chanting the Vedas. Your tongue should be constantly habituated to chanting only holy texts. Mantra japa, etc. You know. The moment you open your mouth, only mantras will come, only slokas will come, because your mind is saturated with these things. That's one of the Vangmayi tapasya. That's why sometimes you read aloud these mantras. Even various physics or chemistry texts, some people read aloud. They cannot silently read. When children also do. Memorizing. So memorize. Because those ideas will completely be saturating your mind. Even when you sleep and you get up, these ideas will be there with you. So self-control is very much necessary. Of the tongue first. Tongue means both rasana and yukhva. Tongue is taste. Control it. Unless you control the tongue, obesity and diabetes, so many things, and fast food and junk food. The students will go out, eat something, and the next day we have to take them to Shramajivi. Ganesh knows very well. It has gone somewhere, and then the tongue. And all our elders also. Some people have come from outside, etc. We'll go out and have a party, etc. Some of you also will maybe called there. Nachiketa said, Father, Dad, you can't do this. Now you cannot withdraw. You have said that. And stick to truth. I will go. That's the story. He was given 3 boons. The last boon he asked, what happens after death? Many people say that there is nothing beyond death. Everything ends with death. Charvakas. Basme bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutah. When the body is completely burnt away, how can the body come back again? There's nothing called Atman or Brahman or after death, etc. Shukshma Sharira, etc. Then some people say, no, there is something beyond death. So what survives physical death? Is there any subtle spiritual entity which goes beyond death? This is the question which is discussing here. Then he is raising another question, page number 36. Then there is a desire to be happy. This is one more. Everybody is chasing happiness, some way or the other. Nobody says, I want to be unhappy all the time. Dukkha should come to me, except one. Who is she? Kunti Devi. Kunti Devi said, I want dukkha so I can remember you. That's for a different purpose. Chasing happiness all the time. But happiness we are chasing in the senses. We want freedom. Now everybody says freedom of speech, freedom of everything. Swami Ramakrishna asks a simple question. Do you want freedom of the senses or freedom from the senses? Everybody wants freedom of the senses. I should talk whatever I want to talk. I should see whatever I want to see. I should eat whatever I want to eat. The freedom of the senses. Freedom from the senses, that means I should be the master. These senses should be my slaves. Now people say, I have no freedom, so much of slavery, I'm confined here in the hostel. Ramakrishna was a standard accusation. Jail khana matam avaddu gore kitchen. Not you people, you do whatever you like, we don't say anything. Nijer paye ne kudul marte chaiche ki korbe. No, amar pa, amar kudul ami maro ki korbo. I will destroy myself. What is that to you? Please do, go ahead. Our schools are very strict. Even they used to be strict. Nowadays not so much strict. So students used to come and ask me. I was 28 years I was there. So much of argument. I said, argue. Any amount of argument you do, our religion or Vedanta cannot be shaken. These questions have been asked, re-asked, answered, finished. Then I said, you want freedom? Yes. What kind of freedom? Are you free now? You are a slave number 1. You are the worst slave. You are a slave to your tongue. Your tongue says, let us now go and eat that. You know you should not be eating prohibited food. That which is absolutely rotten food, you pay money to purchase a disease. God has provided beautiful air which we pollute. Wonderful lungs He has given so that He can purify the blood. Then man says, no, I will fill my lungs with smoke. I want the costliest cigarette. My lungs, I will fill it with smoke. What is that to you? Please do. It's my body, I will kill myself. Somebody says, please. You go to the shop and ask for, can you give me a packet of cigarettes? What is the cost? What is the cost now? Some of you may know, I don't know. Now cigarettes have become very costly. Really good cigarettes, not bidis. When you say, please give me 100 rupees of cigarette, that means you're asking, can you give me half a kilo of cancer? This is exactly what we're asking. Everybody knows it's a proven truth. Smoking will result in cancer. It's absolutely proven. But human beings cannot control because we are used to it. You know, in Bengali it's called Gyan Papi. Gyan Papi মানে যে জ্ঞান আছে জানে তবু পাপ আচরণ করবে. This question was asked by Arjuna to Sri Krishna, 3rd chapter. What is the sloka? Zakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anuchanna vivarshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Impelled by what does a man tread the path of sin? As if he doesn't want, but some power is pulling him. It's called habit. So why we are constantly telling good samskaras have to be created? Not that you are going to get anything immediately. Create some good samskaras. These samskaras are developed into habits. The habits ultimately will turn into character. Habit is very difficult to stop. Once you form a bad habit, it doesn't leave you till you die. There is an interesting joke in English. Habit is very hard to leave. If you drop H, there is a bit. If you drop A, there is bit. If you drop B, still it is there. It is there. That's why form good habits. Man is a bundle of habits which transform into character. Very simple. Character formation is extremely simple. Form some good character. Simple habits. How to sit straight. How to talk politely. In India, we are as if in a shouting competition. One boy will shout from the ground floor to that person on the top floor. Sometimes I say, why do you shout like that? In the West, certain habits we should follow. They'll talk gently. And they say, why are you shouting like that? They can't bear so much of noise. We shout, we quarrel. Unnecessarily we scold everybody, use vulgar words. Unnecessarily we get into this habit. Once you get into the habit, you cannot. Look at our parliament, look at our assembly. Somnath Chattopadhyay, when he was a speaker, he came up with the idea this whole thing should be televised. There will be Lok Sabha television, it should be live telecast so that these people will behave. Everybody will see, they'll be ashamed. No shame, they are behaving the same way. Because they're habituated. So form some good habits. Continuously the habits will help you. Then what happens when the body dies? So who dies? That's the first question. We see the body, just this moment it was, I was talking, next moment, Krishna, finished. What happened? It's a great mystery. Mystery of life, mystery of death. That's why Buddha inquired about the truth after seeing disease, old age, death. Roga, jara, mrityu. Then why? How? What's going to happen? Now you people are young. We were also young like you. Suddenly I joined our Vidya Mandir in 1978 at the age of 28 plus. Suddenly I wake up and say I'm 76. How did it happen? Simply life goes. Maharaj comes and says, Maharaj, today is Wednesday. Just now there is a Wednesday, like yesterday. Suddenly again Wednesday. How fast time moves. Now you ask this question, what happens? This is what Swamiji summarizes here. Everything is evanescent. Enjoyment, misery, luxury, wealth, power, poverty, even life itself are all evanescent. Evanescent means fleeting. Khodabhangur boli na Banglate. Two positions remain to mankind. One is to believe that the nihilist that all is nothing, we know nothing, we can never know anything about the future, the past and the present. For we must remember that he who denies the past and the future wants to stick to the present is simply a bad man. One may as well deny his father and mother, answered the child. To deny the past and future, the present also must be denied. This is one position of the nihilists. Nihilist means shunyavadi. Nihil means shunya. Kichuyini, ultimately think about does nothing. Suppose you get this, so what? Suppose you get mukti. I used to think, you get mukti. What happens? Nothing happens. I want Brahmagyana. So what? So what? So what if you keep on asking tadakim, tadakim, ultimately there is nothing. You end up becoming a nihilist, there is nothing. The other position, to seek for an explanation, to seek for the real, to discover in the midst of this eternally changing evanescent world what is real. So you ask, in the midst of everything is changing, is there anything which is unchanging? Should there be anything unchanging? You ask this question. সমস্তগুলি পরিবর্তন যখন হচ্ছে, অপরিবর্তনীয় বস্তু একটা অবশ্যই থাকতেই হবে কি? এই ধরনের প্রশ্নের উত্তর কিভাবে আসে জানো তো? তোমরা ম্যাথমেটিক্সে জিওমেট্রিতে নিশ্চয়ই পড়েছ, থিওরাম বলে একটা বস্তু আছে। থিওরামকে প্রুভ করতে হবে। ভালো বই এসএল লোনি, তারপরে ওগুলো আছে না পুরোনো পুরোনো বইগুলো, জিওমেট্রি, তারপরে হল বলে একটা বই ছিল আমাদের সময়। থিওরাম প্রুফ। How do you prove a theorem? There are two ways. One is you take a theorem and then go step by step and prove it, and finally you write QED. জানো? দেখো না? Very common. আমাদের সময় এখান থেকে তোমার quad erat demonstrandum, that is Latin. QED means thus proved. When you read QED, finished. It has been proved. Another method is, nowadays I think nobody uses QED. I don't know. It's a common thing for us. Another method is, assume the theorem is false and see what happens. You go on and go on, go on. Finally, you will come up with an absurd conclusion which is not acceptable, and therefore your assumption that the theory is not true is not true. This method is called reductio ad absurdum, reducing to an absurdity. So we can, Vedantic theorems we can prove very easily like that. What is the theorem? Amidst all these changing phenomena, there should be something unchanging. সমস্ত পরিবর্তনশীল বস্তুর মধ্যে একটি অপরিবর্তনীয় নিত্য বস্তু থাকার অবশ্যই প্রয়োজন। এটা হচ্ছে থিওরাম। প্রমাণ? reductio ad absurdum. Assume there is nothing which is unchanging amongst the changing world. Then what happens? Just think, imagine. Everything is changing. এখান থেকে ঘরে গেছে, এই ঘরটা কোথায় গেল জানো না, শালকে চলে গেল তো। Everything is changing. এই বইটা ওখানে ছেড়ে এলাম, বইটা কোথায় গেল বলো তো? বইটাতে চলে গেল ওখানে লাইব্রেরিতে। অনেক সময় এতে পড়ি না আমরা, ওই ভুতুড়ে অনেক সময় গল্প বলি না আমরা। Nothing is real, nothing. You cannot depend on anything. You can't depend on your body. ঠিক আছে, এটা রেখে দিচ্ছি, রাত্রে এসে খাও। কোথাও কিচ্ছু নেই, খেতেও পারছে না। And suddenly your brain is failing. You can't remember anything. এই মনে পড়ছে না? হ্যাঁ, খেয়ে তুই। কি হলো তোর বলো তো? কি হলো মানে? ডিমেনশিয়া হয়ে যায় না হঠাৎ করে? You don't see terrible, miserable life they lead. আমাদেরও কালকে হবে না তা নয়, কিন্তু আমার সবসময় ভয়ে ভয়ে থাকি আমি। মহারাজ আপনি ইউনিভার্সিটি? হ্যাঁ, ইউনিভার্সিটি? কিসের ইউনিভার্সিটি? সব ভুলে গেছে। প্রি-সিনাইল ডিমেনশিয়া বলে একটা আছে, ডক্টরস উইল নো। সিনিলিটি বলে একটা আছে, আস্তে আস্তে করে তোমার the capacity of the brain becomes less and less. Senility বলে। senility set up করে because of old age usually. Pre-senile মানে old age আসার আগেই dementia হয়ে যায়. Dementia মানে somebody the powers, faculty of thinking, faculty of the brain completely goes away. Parkinson's হয়ে যায় না, সবসময় এটা তাকে একটু চায়ের কাপও তুলতে পারে না, চায়ের কাপ তুলো সব পড়ে যায়, লালা পড়তে থাকে, খুব মিজারেবল লাইফ ওদের। আলজাইমার্স ডিসিজ বলে না, even now they are not, we have find out any cure. Too many people are suffering from Alzheimer's. Whatever be the reason, if everything is changing, কোনটার উপরে আস্থা রাখতে পারবে না। আস্থা মানে বুঝো তো, you cannot depend on anything. হে আমার বন্ধু আমার সবসময় আছে বলে কালকে ও বন্ধুটা তোমার বিরুদ্ধে চলে গেল। That we see every day, particularly in human relationship, in male-female relationship. আজকে বিশাল আমার বন্ধু, পরের দিনটা এগুলো ও বিরুদ্ধে চলো, ও বিরুদ্ধে লিখতে থাকলো, দুদিনের মধ্যে আবার ভাব হয়ে গেল। Continuously everything is in motion and change. কোনোটাই চেঞ্জলেস যদি না থাকে তাহলে কোনোটার উপরে আস্থা রাখতে পারবে না। কনক্লুশন ঠিক কিনা আর্গুমেন্টসগুলি? If everything is changing, you can't trust anything in life. You can't put your faith in anything because it may change. So if you don't have trust in anything in life, then you don't find meaning in life. What sustains us? আমাদের কিন্তু পরিচালনা করে নিয়ে যাচ্ছে, something is sustaining us. আস্থা, we have আস্থা in something. আমরা বসে আছি, আমার আস্থা আছে চেয়ারটা ভেঙে পড়বে না, তার জন্য বসে আছি এখানে। চেয়ারটা যদি ভেঙে পড়ে, না বসবো না। কেউ কেউ আছে এই চেয়ারে বসুন না, আপনি দাঁড়াও, পড়ে গেলে কী হবে, দাঁড়িয়ে থাকবো। দাঁড়িয়ে থাকলে পড়ে যেতে পারেন, তাই তো, তাহলে বসে যায়। বসে গেলে পড়ে গেলে তাহলে দাঁড়িয়ে থাকবো। মেন্টাল কেসেস এগুলি। People who can't trust anything in life. It is some kind of schizophrenic এসব বলে ওরা। They will lock the door and then তিনবার টেনে দেখবে। কিছুক্ষণ বাদে এলো, আমাদের একজন ছেলে এমন টিজ করতে, স্যার আপনি চলে এলেন, লক করেছেন তো? হ্যাঁ করেছি, বই কি দেখে এলাম তো। তাই নাকি? ঠিক ভালো করে দেখেছেন তো? দাঁড়া আবার যাচ্ছে, আবার স্যার ট্রেনে দেখলে কি হবে, ভিতরে কেউ থাকলে ও আবার খুলবেন। আমরা হারছে, কি মিজারেবল লাইফ না ওদের। 50 বার হাত ধোবে, তুমি দেখেছো ওইগুলো? বাস্তবে থাকবে এগুলো। এই তো পরিষ্কার, এই তো হাত ধুয়ে এলেন, হাত ধুয়ে এসছে না, না স্যার আরেকবার ধুয়ে নেওয়া ভালো, আবার যাবে। If you don't trust anything, then your life will be miserable because you can't function at all. কোনটার উপরে আস্থা নেই তোমার। ছাদ ভেঙে পড়ে গেলে ফ্যানের তলায় বসবেন না। ফ্যান আমরা হয়েছিল একবার, মানে ব্রহ্মচারী, বিশাল বড় ফ্যান, আর্মি ফ্যান তখনকার দিনে, অকশনে কেনা, থাপাস করে পড়ে গেল। ফরচুনেটলি মশারি ছিল বলে উল্টে গেল, আর স্ট্রেট এখানে নিচে এত বড় গর্ত হয়ে গেছে। This should have happened here. ফ্যান যদি ভেঙে পড়ে গেলে, হ্যাঁ দূরে বসা ভালো, হ্যাঁ ঠিক বলেছেন। তাতেও ঠিক নেই স্যার, এখান থেকে আসবে না, কি করবে? তাহলে কি করবো বলো তো? Then that's it. You can't, a person who doesn't have constancy, see we believe only constancy, তাই না? যেটা আনচেঞ্জিং উপরে কিন্তু আমরা আস্থা আছে আমাদের। সেজন্য আমরা বলি ঈশ্বর আছেন, উনি পরিবর্তন হবেন না, সকলে তোমাকে ছেড়ে দিলেও তিনি আছেন, তিনি না থাকলে কি করবে? একটা ফেথ নিয়ে মানুষ চলে। কুম্ভে গিয়ে স্নান করলে আমার অনেক পাপ মুক্ত, 144 বছর বাদে একটা আসছে, একটা গল্প বানিয়ে দিল একজন। You may laugh at it, but that is the faith which keeps people. Huge stampede, 18 people died, but the very next train is full of people. Nobody bothered. So this will happen to you when you believe that there is nothing changing, changeless. চেঞ্জলেস বস্তু, অপরিবর্তনীয় বস্তু আদৌ থাকবে না যদি মনে করো, তাহলে জগতে কোনো তোমার কিন্তু আস্থা থাকবে না, কারো উপরে কোনটার উপরে আস্থা। তাহলে দেন হোয়াট হ্যাপেন্স? এটা ঘুরিয়ে ঘুরিয়ে দেখছে কিছু হচ্ছে কিনা, কিছুই হবে না। তাহলে কি হবে? আস্থা যদি চলে যায় সবগুলোতে, there will be no meaning in life. ঠিক বলছি কি? দেখো লজিকটা, জগতে কোনো মিনিং নেই। A human being is a meaning seeking creature. মানুষের প্রত্যেকটা মিনিং আছে। এটা কেন করব? ছেলেরা কেন মানতে চায় না? এটা করলে কি হবে? What is the meaning of this ritual? What is the meaning of that? Everywhere you seek meaning. A time will come when you will ask, what is the meaning of my life? What is the meaning of existence? What is the meaning of study? If you lose meaning because you don't believe in anything changeless, completely you lose meaning in life. ভালো করে খাওয়ানো হচ্ছে না, সকালে নখ খেয়ে যাচ্ছে দেখছি। নখ ইজ নট টেস্টি, বাট নখের ভিতরে যে ময়লা আছে না, ওটা ওটা হ্যাবিট, চিন্তা, ওটা টেরিবল টেনশন থাকলে নখটা কেন থাকে। So if you don't find meaning in anything, then what happens? পাগল হয়ে যাবে। আচ্ছা, পাগল পাগল বলে আমরা ওকে, why does a person become mad? He cannot find meaning in anything. কোথায় যাব, কি করব, চাকরি করব, না করে কি হবে? He doesn't find meaning in anything. Either he turns mad or commits suicide. It's a very absurd proposition, reductio ad absurdum. Therefore, go back to our premise. What is the premise? There is nothing changeless. So that premise should be wrong. So this is my proof of God. God means unchanging, eternal essence, substance should be there, because if it is not there, life will lose meaning. Suppose you say, let life lose meaning. I will become mad, so what? Please do, I don't want to become mad. There is some place where you find some kind of stability. Unstable system vision thakte parna. Among all these changing, non-eternal, impermanent, evanescent things, there is something which is eternal, something which is nitya vastu. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bhunam yo viridhati kaman. That thing is your own self. If you realize it, then alone you will have eternal peace and eternal happiness. So he is asking this question. I have never been able to see a man who could really become a nihilist for a minute. It's very easy to talk. Other positions seek for an explanation. This has been the search of humankind. So then you go to page number 40. Now the human language is the attempt to express the truth that is within. I am fully persuaded that a baby whose language consists of unintelligible sounds is attempting to express the highest philosophy, only the baby has not the organs to express it, nor the means. The difference between the language of the highest philosophers and the utterances of babies is one of degree and not of kind. What we call the most correct, systematic, mathematical language of the present time and the hazy, mystical, mythological languages of the ancients differ only in degree. So we laugh at religion, we laugh at mythology, we laugh at the Puranas because it doesn't suit our understanding. He says, in modern times, if a person quotes a Moses or a Buddha or a Christ, he is laughed at. Let him give the name of Huxley or Tyndall or Darwin, and it is swallowed without a salt. Huxley has said it, that's enough for many. That was a religious superstition, and this is a scientific superstition. Only in and through that superstition came life-giving principles of spirituality. In and through this modern superstition come lust and greed. That superstition was the worship of God. This superstition was worship of the filthy lucre, fame and power. That's all the difference. So somewhere man has to find out the answer to this. Then let us go further. Page number 46. We will take up the present theme. What is this force which is working through us? So through every one of us, some force is working. Is it true or not? প্রত্যেকের ভিতরে একটা শক্তি কাজ করে যাচ্ছে। মহাশক্তি, ওটাকে মহামায়া বলো, কালী বলো, দুর্গা বলো, অথবা হোয়াট এভার। প্রমাণ that I am talking is the movement of the tongue inside the mouth. Where do the words come from? শব্দগুলো কোথা থেকে আসছে? কোথায় ব্রেনে স্টোর করা আছে অনেকগুলো শব্দ, ওখান থেকে নার্ভ কারেন্ট থ্রু দিয়ে এখানে আসছে। When I am talking to you, simultaneously the lungs are moving, heart is pumping, so all these are being governed by some power, some Shakti. So he says, what is this force? This question was asked where? Which Upanishad? Keneshitam patate preshitam manaha kena prana pradama priti yukta. Kena Upanishad begins by saying, what is the power, what is the force, what is the Shakti by which we are able to see, the eyes are able to see, the ears are able to hear, the tongue is able to taste or speak, the nose is able to smell, and the skin is able to touch. What is that power? This manifestation of the power was thought to be a bright substance having the form of his body. It remained even if the body fell. But like starting from the Egyptian mummies, etc., they said, the physical body goes away, there is a very subtle, bright body that also needs some bright food. They erected the pyramids and so on. Hindus are the most scientific, they immediately quickly burn the body. So that something was called the soul, the Atman in Sanskrit. It is the Atman which, through the bright body as it were, worked on the gross body outside. The bright body is considered the receptacle of the mind, and the Atman is beyond that. It is not even mind, it works through the mind. And if you have an Atman, I have another, each one of us has a separate Atman and a separate fine body. Questions were then asked about this Atman, about its nature. What is this Atman? The soul of man, which is neither the body nor the mind. Great discussions followed, speculations were made, various shades of philosophic inquiry came into existence. I shall try to place before you some of the conclusions that have been reached about the Atman. Now he discusses the Atma Tattva based on various different ideas. You know the three famous ideas, the Advaita, Vishishta Advaita and Dvaita. So we'll take it up next time. The real nature of man, what is the nature of the Atman or the Self? Now he has proved there should be something called the Atman which is real, which is ultimate and which is unchanging. Once you accept this, reduction observe theorem has been proved, there has to be, otherwise life will be meaningless. If life is meaningless, so it be, let it be. No. If life is meaningless, the world will be full of mad people. Of course, it's already full of mad people. life will lose meaning. Life cannot be meaningless. There should be a purpose. What is the latest problem which youngsters and successful people are suffering from? Purposelessness. You don't know what is the purpose. Why they are doing what they are doing. Nature is purposive. Nature is a purpose. আমরা যখন পৃথিবীতে এসে গিয়েছি এটা জীবাত্মা হয়ে এই মহাশক্তি আমাদের নিয়ে এসছে নিশ্চয়ই কোনো কিছু পারপাস আছে so every one of us has a different purpose by which we have come. We do not know that purpose. To discover that purpose is called religion, philosophy, meditation, spirituality. What is the purpose which with I have come into this world? There should be a purpose. Somebody may be intelligent, somebody may be extraordinary, somebody may be rich or poor, somebody may be extraordinarily intelligent. Let anybody be anything, even a little ant, even a mosquito. It has a purpose in this world. Otherwise it would not have come into existence. So discover that purpose. So there is an unchanging essence in all the beings. So what is the nature of this has to be discovered. This was the quest which seriously we took up. Millennia ago. Hajar বছর আগে এই পারপাসটা কোথা থেকে এলাম কোথায় যাব আমরা Sw.Atmapriyananda first opening lines Brahmavadino vadanti King karanam brahma kutasmajata jivama kena kvajasam pratishtha. What is the cause of all this? Where did we arise from? Where we are going? That question people have to ask. You come from the hostel and go back to the hostel. That is not the answer. In one interview somebody asked, how did you come here? Sir, by bus, sir. So these questions cannot be wished away. এটা কিন্তু ভুলে গিয়ে থাকতে পারবে না কেন থাকতে পারবে না এইসব কিছু ফালতু ঝাড়ো তো খ্যাক করে একটা বাধা এলো একটা ব্লো এলো some terrible calamity এলো and you feel frustrated, you are disappointed, somebody betrayed you. আমাকে এরকম করে করলো. Where do you fall back upon? তোমাকে দাঁড়াবার জায়গা কোথায়? বাবা মা যতদিন আছে তোমার হিতৈষী বলতে পৃথিবীতে বাবা মা. Take it from me. Nobody will stand by you till death. বাবা মা আস্তে আস্তে ওরাও যাবেন. People will laugh at you. সেজন্য বলা হয় তোমার দুর্বলতা তোমার কত রকমের ভিতরে যে কষ্ট আছে সেগুলো সকলকে বলে বেড়াবে না. ডোন্ট টেল আদার্স. কেন? অর্ধেক লোক এটা নিয়ে দে ডোন্ট কেয়ার, বাকি অর্ধেক খুব খুশি হবে. ওই এসে বললো খুব দুঃখে আছে জানো তো, হবে না কেন, ভালো হয়েছে. People will rejoice at your sorrow. Sadistic, na? Then where do you fall back upon? একটা ঈশ্বর যদি মনে করো অন্তত বসে একটা, আমাদের দেশে ডিপ্রেশন কোনো কালে ছিলই না. একটু কষ্ট হচ্ছে মানে এটা না, বসো গান করো, হাত তালে দিয়ে ভজন করো, ব্যাস অল ডিপ্রেশন গান. I don't believe in this bhajan. Then suffer করো, go to the mental patient. আমাদের এখানে ওরা বলছে না, health system is collapsing, there are no hospitals, etc. ওখানে পাড়ায় পাড়ায় কিন্তু mental hospital. Every person is a mental wreck. সাইকিয়াট্রি করে মানুষকে পাগল করে দিচ্ছে. আমাদের সাইকিয়াট্রি, ঈশ্বরে বিশ্বাস করো, হাত তালে দিয়ে হরিনাম করো, ঈশ্বর আছেন, তিনি ওনাকে দেখবেন. ওর গ্র্যান্ডমাদার্স আছে না বাড়িতে, বয়স্ক মহিলারা বসে থাকে, মা কি এরকম হলো আমার, আজকে পরীক্ষা ভালো, দেখো বাবা এরকম হয়ে থাকে, কিছুতেই ভাববি না, আরও ভালো করবি, চিন্তা করছিস কেন? সাম কনসোলেশন ইউ গেট বিকজ দে হ্যাভ সিন থ্রু লাইফ. জীবনে দেখে 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 দে নো হাউ টু কনসোল ইউ. জগতে এরকম রে বাবা এরকম কষ্ট হচ্ছে, আমাকে কেন এরকম সকলে এরকম করতে বলছে, এরকম হয়ে থাকে কিছু, দুদিন বাদে দেখবি তোমাকেই মাথায় তুলে রাখবে, তাই না? আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে. There is somebody you fall back upon. Usually people used to share everything with the wife. বিয়ে করা মানে কি আমার সুখ দুঃখ সব ওকে বলবো, আর ওটা নিয়ে ওটাকে লিক আউট করে ওটা মজা দেখছে ও। তুমি যেই মুহূর্তে বলবে সঙ্গে সঙ্গে ওটা, বিকজ শি হ্যাজ হাফ ডজন আদার পার্টনার্স। কী করবে এই জগতে? সেটা দেখেও মানুষ ওখানে গিয়ে ফাঁদে পা দেয়। আমি শুধু আবার কেন রে বাবা পা দিচ্ছে? একটু কষ্ট করে 20-25 বছর থাকলেই তোমার ঠিক হয়ে যাবে, তারপরে ইউ ডোন্ট ওয়ান্ট। মানে কী করবে? যে মহামায়া তোমাকে করছে তো কী করবে? হুম ইউ ক্যান শেয়ার। সেজন্য বলছে অন্তরে ভগবান আছেন, তার কাছে গিয়ে বলো। কেঁদে কেঁদে প্রার্থনা করো, ঠাকুর বলছেন না, কেঁদে কেমনে কাঁদতে বলছেন না, ভিতর থেকে কান্না আসবে। আর পারছি না, কাকে যাবো, কার কাছে যাবো? We have lived throughout in faith in God, faith in religion. Old people, देखो, your parents or your grandparents, most of you come from middle class families, not so much well-to-do, aristocratic तक वो आशे नहीं. You ask about the struggles of your grandfather, struggles of your father, की कष्ट करे तिल करे मानुष होइछे. They know every inch of the way they have struggled. But family system chilo, support nahi to. Family support, society support. Now YouTube support. YouTube also fails you. That fellow, that comedian, most popular. Of course he used to cut jokes. People used to be so... One flippant, one word he uttered out of his flippancy and too much of arrogance. Tabash. Now he is running to avert arrest. Supreme Court said, all right, don't arrest him. This is life. From glory, immediately in glory, you fall. You fall back upon something. Where? Who? Where? So there you ask, is there anything real? Who will respond to me? Saguna Brahman, God, but whatever name you call, he responds to you. This is called bhakti. In bhakti, you talk to God, God also. You imagine that he also talks to you, he also consoles you. You read some stotras, you sing some songs, and you're happy. And jnanis, they collapse, silently they cry, but they'll come and give good lectures about Advaita. Because unless you have felt something within, it is not easy. Life will come with load of miseries. So how do you tackle all this? This is what Swamiji is now talking about. The Atman, which is because he was talking in the West, in London. Because they have no idea. They are all saying we are born in sin, that's all. That you are not born in sin, you are the eternal, glorious Atman. That's what I wanted to say. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.